Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're looking at something really compelling. It's a listener's personal journey into, well, spiritual initiation and deep inner experience. And this all happened against the backdrop of the 1971 India-Pakistan War. Quite a setting.
It really is. We've got excerpts from this firsthand account. It's called Initiation.
Yeah.
It details the writer's trip to Maharaj Ji's ashram in Premnagar and then these, profound experiences that followed. Our plan today is really to unpack the insights, those sort of aha moments from this story.
Exactly. We want to get into what drives that search for spiritual understanding, and the power of direct experience versus just reading about things, plus that incredible contrast, finding inner peace when there's actual war happening nearby.
Yeah.
It's a unique lens on some really big human questions.
Definitely.
Okay, so the journey begins.
Right. The author paints this picture of moving from, I think the phrase was the edge of the wave and the chaos of borders, to the very focused spiritual energy of the ashram near Hardwar. It's a powerful shift. External chaos to internal focus.
You can almost feel that change, can't you? Leaving that turbulence, arriving somewhere with, as they say, a different kind of energy.
Mm-hmm.
There's this real sense of, anticipation, like something important was about to happen. What do you think creates that palpable shift?
Well, I think it often comes from shared intention, a collective focus,
Yeah.
When people gather with that kind of unified spiritual purpose, it can create a really potent, almost a tangible, energetic field.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense. And what's interesting here is the desire for direct experience.
Yeah.
Not just, accepting dogma, this idea that keys would be given, but the opening of the door. That needed personal effort. That really stands out.
Precisely. It emphasizes that real understanding. It often comes from doing, from personal exploration, not just passively taking things in. It's about feeling the truth for yourself.
And all this is happening while the India-Pakistan War is raging nearby. You have the sanctuary. And just outside, the reality of air raid sirens, the sounds of bombing, it's stark.
Yeah, the account calls the ashram a pocket of peace. Which really shows, I think, that inner calm isn't just about what's happening outside. It suggests we can actually choose to align with, harmony, even when chaos is all around.
Then we get to the core event, the initiation. Described as happening in a small room, maybe 20 people, Maharaj Ji is present energetically, it seems, even if physically somewhere else. And the focus is clearly on direct transmission, experience, not just words.
Yes, the author uses the phrase powerful energetic imprint. And the first technique, the light technique, it involves a touch on the forehead, often linked to inner vision, right? And this apparently triggers an incredible surge of energy. It's described as a felt thing, tangible.
Not just an idea.
Right, like it left a mark, not just mentally, but deeper, vibrational almost.
And then the conscious mind fades back, and this vision appears. A golden circle of light with a brilliant blue star inside. The beauty is described as overwhelming. Feelings of love, joy, peace, experienced as part of the source itself. It makes you wonder, what's the insight here about consciousness, reality?
Well, what's fascinating is how the star then transforms into a blue ray, a tunnel of infinite light, and this feeling of merging with it, of being at home. That speaks volumes, doesn't it? That sense of connection.
Surfing.
And the realization that followed this was proof that we are more than these bodies. And maybe a key to the secrets behind all religions. That's a huge takeaway.
Wow.
Later, there's this understanding it was an initiation into Lord Michael's blue ray, the ladder to God, adds another layer. So the core insight. Maybe it's that this direct felt experience, it kind of bypasses the intellect. It gives you that undeniable sense of connection to something vast, a truth perhaps underlying different spiritual paths.
And coming back to physical awareness sounds
Yeah.
intense. The body shaking, feeling hooked up to the power plant of the whole universe. That phrase really conveys the sheer power of it.
It does.
And then the intuition comes. The body can learn to harmonize with these higher frequencies through meditation. Higher frequencies, is that just like subtler levels of energy?
Yeah.
More refined.
That's a good way to think about it, yeah, like a spectrum. Our everyday awareness is on one level, and these experiences tap into, subtler, more expansive parts of that spectrum.
Okay. So after that initial initiation, 3 other techniques are shared. There's the music technique, learning to hear the innermost frequencies of life, connecting with infinite energy, pure love, and bliss. It's called the Word of God, echoing St. John.
Yes, that connection to the word or logos as a fundamental frequency. It's a theme you find across traditions. And the idea that focused listening can fill you with joy and peace. it suggests sound itself, in its deepest form, can be a direct path.
A path to those deeper states.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Then there's the living waters or nectar, described as a physical thing, a manifestation of subtle energy.
Linked sometimes to the endocrine system.
Yeah.
Having these powerful effects, cleansing, altering consciousness.
And they mention historical accounts, like Christ and manna.
Yeah.
Suggests this isn't entirely new.
Right. It points to a long awareness, perhaps, of these subtle energies and their potential effects, even physical ones.
So, the link to the endocrine system. That's interesting.
It is. That system regulates hormones, affecting mood, energy, everything, really. So this experience of living waters might suggest a direct influence on our physiology, blurring that line between physical and, well, spiritual or energetic.
So, a key takeaway here. It seems to be that these experiences, these techniques, they lead to a realization that our true nature is part of something bigger, a universal consciousness we've sort of forgotten.
Yes, exactly. The initiation seems to act like a catalyst. Suddenly, scriptures make sense on a personal level, not just intellectually. And there's this growing respect for different religions as maybe different ways up the same mountain, pointing to the same core truth.
That quote from Zoran really nails it. You sought the keys outside, human, but the lock was on the inside of the door, and the universe itself is the room.
Beautifully put. It perfectly captures that shift from looking out there to finding it in here.
And speaking of Zoran, his perspective adds another layer, witnessing a similar experience by the Ganges.
Yeah, he describes seeing someone else experience that dissolution of awareness, merging with light, with a river of nectar.
That analogy of the Ganges' ancient energy flowing through the person, it really emphasizes interconnectedness.
Tapping into something timeless, yeah. And the Rumi poetry he references reinforces it too. True sight, hearing, freedom, they're internal. The real journey is inward.
And after that Ganges experience, Zoran's focus apparently shifts big time towards inner work. Meditation becomes like going to the movies, but the movies are inside, witnessing inner realities.
And that feeling of being truly at home, even far from his birthplace, it highlights that deep peace you can find within, regardless of location.
Right. Independent of circumstances.
The mind's described as a chatterbox, but learning to focus on the eternal within, practicing connecting to that inner word of God constantly.
Zoran sounds astonished that this inner jewel, as he calls it, is just sitting there inside everyone, often ignored.
Yeah, overlooked while we chase external things. He also mentions the struggle, the mind fighting back during meditation initially, but then the breakthrough, where the inner experience becomes undeniable, it confirms itself.
And that transformation where the experience itself meditates on you. What does that mean exactly?
I think it suggests a shift from trying to meditate, trying to control the mind, to being completely absorbed by the inner reality. It becomes effortless, self-sustaining, deeply immersive.
Okay, I see. The narrative then pans out a bit. Experiences beyond meditation, like witnessing that Arya Samaj attack in Bihar. A jarring contrast again, highlighting the complexities of India then.
It really does. And then that encounter with Rolf Arnes, the surfer, son of James Arnes from Gunsmoke, just buying cashews in Delhi.
Right. Worlds colliding in the most mundane setting.
It's a great little reminder of life's unpredictability, how different paths intersect.
And it ends, or nears the end, with this request to go to Bombay to help with Maharajji's trip to South Africa, suggesting the journey continues, evolves into service maybe.
Seems like it. And that final thought really sums it up. The universe is always unfolding, and so are we, guided by inner light and unexpected events.
So recapping, we've touched on the sheer power of direct spiritual experience.
Right, and that stark contrast. Inner peace possible amidst external war.
And the potential, through practices like meditation, to access these really profound inner states.
And underlying it all, that universal human search for meaning, it shines through this personal story, doesn't it?
It really does. So for you, listening, we hope this deep dive offered some, useful insights, food for thought about consciousness, about the potential that's right there inside each of us. We tried to cover it thoroughly, but hopefully not overwhelmingly.
Yeah. And the source material itself actually offers some practical next steps if you're interested. Sections called Dragon Trial, the Inner Senses, and Dragon Trial, Finding the Inner River. They encourage a gentle turning inward, becoming aware of subtle inner light or sound or energy, exploring your own inner river, that sense of inner flow.
Right. Just gentle awareness. So let's leave you with this thought to maybe chew on. Could it be that the answers we spend so much energy seeking out there are actually waiting inside, patiently waiting to be discovered right within us?
Perhaps there's a kind of, I don't know, cosmic irony that the deepest truths aren't hidden far away, but hidden in plain sight, inside ourselves.